demo, I'm going to show you how to make this, a pizza poster. For this project, we're really exploring the use and work with layers, as well as a couple of simple tools like the gradient tool and some of the different shapes. So in order to create a new document, File, New, I'm actually going to create a custom document for this because it is web-based. I'm going to make it 10 inches by 10 inches. Resolution is 72 pixels per inch. So 72 pixels per inch is formatted for web-based use only. If you were to print this picture, it would come out pixelated. So color mode, let's talk about the different color modes. There's RGB and CMYK are the two main color modes that you will be using. So RGB is formatted for web-based publishing, and CMYK is formatted for print-based application. So if you want to get something printed, you will want to have it formatted in CMYK in order for the colors not to be distorted and print accurately. So now I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's selected. Everything else is fine and hit create. As a default, you'll notice that you have one layer already preset and it is automatically locked. So in order to unlock that layer, just double click and it will come up with layer 0 as a suggestion. I'm going to go ahead and rename that to background because I'm going to keep it as a background. And to get started, I want to build up some of my layers. So to build up some of my layers, you're going to come down to the bottom right-hand corner where you see this plus sign. That little plus sign next to the trash can is how you can generate additional layers. So I'm going to go ahead and add 5 layers, since for this assignment you're required to have a minimum of 6. I'm going to rename each layer. So this would be my crust for my pizza. This would be my sauce. This would be my cheese. This would be my banner. Let's play with our background. So to play with your background, I'm going to be utilizing the gradient tool. So I'm going to make sure my background is selected. Sometimes your gradient tool can be hiding in this selection. So sometimes you might see a little paint bucket instead of your gradient tool. So if you're looking for it, there it is. It's partnered up with the paint bucket. So to change the color, so right now this is set to kind of a cranberry to an orange, and I want to change the colors to be more cool colors, like a deeper blue to maybe a softer or lighter blue. All right, there are lots of different options. So there are 5 options up here for you to choose from. There's the linear gradient, which is what this is. Then we have these options as well that you can play with that will change. So this is a radial design. This one will go around a circle, but according to a line, as you can see here. This one will be stripes. So, and I can, as you notice, it's going to change directions depending on how I use or line up my lines. So in order to do this, what you want to do is you want to line this up to where you want to start. So that's your start point. Hold down, and then you can move your key anywhere you like, and then release. So that's how it's going to show that sense of gradient in your work. And then lastly, here is one with a diamond. That is a radial diamond. So you're welcome to use any of these as you like. For mine, I'm going to keep things simple to just the linear background. So to get started with my crust, you're going to look for the shapes tools. So the shapes tools, a lot of times you'll see a rectangle is usually the main tool that is selected, but you'll notice that there's a bunch that you can choose from. So there's rectangle, ellipse, rounded rectangle, triangle, polygon, and custom shape. I'll be showing you guys what each of these kind of do on some level, and it's the same. So if you choose to not make a circular pizza, that is entirely up to you. And when you get to your toppings, you're definitely welcome to play with those as well. Here is my crust. So you'll notice that the automatic fill color is red, and I want to change that. So I'm probably going to click on this icon here that takes me to the rainbow. So that now allows me to have complete control over finding a new crust color. All right, so there I have that set up. Properties again. All right, so I have a stroke here as well, and I actually do not want the stroke to show. So what stroke means is the outline around your shape. So now that that's done, you'll notice that every time that I'm done working with something, or if I want to adjust something, I go back to this top tool here that is called the Move tool. So this Move tool allows me to move this anywhere I like in this layer. Now remember, the crust is located in the crust layer. So if I want to move my crust later, I have to make sure I'm still in that layer. So I think I want to make my crust just a little bit bigger. In order to do that, the shortcut for that, as you can see, is Control T. So I like using Control T because it makes things really fast. And then you can pull on the corners. Now, if you want to make adjustments to squish something, you'll have to hold down the Shift key, and you can see that that allows me to adjust and transform by squishing it. If I were to not hold down the Shift key and still use that, you'll notice everything is still within ratio and just gets bigger or smaller. Okay, so if you make a mistake or you're not happy about something, the keyboard shortcut for that is Control Z, which is undo. You can also access that up here under Edit. So there I have my crust. Next step is to get my sauce. So I want to, what I can do is I can go ahead and pre-select my color. So I want it kind of a deep reddish tone. Since I'm working with a circular pizza, I'm going to select the ellipse tool again, which will allow me to create an ellipse or a circle. So that looks pretty decent. I'm going to turn off that stroke again, and I think I want to change my fill color. That's looking a little too brown for my taste. I want it to look more reddish like sauce. There we go. Okay. Now it looks a little bit more like pizza sauce. Make adjustments. That looks pretty good. I'm going to try to center it on my crust or get it close. So remember that because this is practice, it's okay if things are not perfectly aligned, but you do want to make an effort to make things look clean and neat and organized. So the next step is your cheese layer. So for cheese, I want to pick a really, really light-ish yellow tone. Kind of like mozzarella. And because again, I'm working with the circle as my main tool, I will be with the ellipse. Make adjustments. All right, click on my move tool. So center this just a little better. All right, so there is your standard or basic pizza. Now it doesn't really look like a pizza because it just looks like 3 rings. So in order to make it look a little bit more like pizza, you may want to add some toppings. So toppings are pretty simple. I think I'm going to show you pepperoni and one other one. So to go with my circular theme, I'm going to go ahead and pick a reddish color for my pepperoni. Reddish. Okay. Grab my circle because pepperoni is pretty round and make one. Alright, turn off my stroke. Cancel. Click move. So now I have one pepperoni. So instead of making individual pepperonis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to duplicate a layer. So to duplicate a layer, I'm going to go over to my layer, drag it down, so I just hold it down, drag it to the bottom, and make sure I'm over top of the add layer. So that's going to automatically create a copy. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to keep doing that and make multiple copies of my pepperoni. Now you're probably going to be like, oh my goodness, there's going to be so much pepperoni on this design. I'm going to have so many layers. I'll show you how to condense them here in a moment. Continue making some more pepperoni. Fill all of this in. So as you see, I'm just repeating the same process. Again, does not have to be perfect placement. I think there's rarely been a pepperoni that has, or pepperoni pizza that I've seen that has all of the pepperonis like perfectly and strategically placed. So kind of going for fun. So that looks pretty decent. If I want to be a little bit more particular, I might move these ones around just a little bit. I'm going to add one more here, and then I'm going to go back and fix this one. So now I need to find which layer that is. So this one is layer 6. An easy way to figure out which layer is which is this little icon with the eye will make it disappear. It's basically not visible, and then it's visible again. So on this layer, I'm going to go ahead and move this one out a little bit, and now I want to find this one just to adjust it. So again, if I'm not on the right layer, it's not going to move the right thing. In order to do that, you do Control G is the key command. I'm going to change this to pepperoni. Okay. All right, so I created a copy of my pepperoni folder. So the reason behind this is it's always good to have the originals. Save the originals, put them all in a folder. So in case you have to go back into your design or you want to just gently fix something, this allows you to have that complete flexibility. But for the purposes of this, I really want to make all of my pepperoni one layer. So to do that, I'm first going to change the name on here. So it just says pepperoni toppings. Okay. And if I right click, you're going to look for merge group. And what that does is now all of my pepperoni, instead of being, if I hide the originals, so now you'll notice that they disappear. So the reason why they didn't disappear when I first was looking at it was because my original pepperoni that are all in this folder was also visible. So it's like having pepperoni stacked, the same copy stacked on top of each other. So if you wanted to do a different topping, that's perfectly fine. You are welcome to make your toppings polygons or different shapes. So feel free to do that and play with that option. You can also create a custom shape. So with the custom shape, right now it's preset to trees. So maybe that would be good if you wanted to do like broccoli, for instance. Okay, so with the custom shapes, in order to change them, these are the options that are available. So there are flowers, there are boats, there's some wildlife, and there are leafy trees. So if you wanted to put some leafy trees on your pizza, feel free to explore that. So this is where you can be kind of fun and whimsical with your pizza and your pizza toppings. The one thing I do suggest is that whatever you do choose to do, that you just keep it uniform, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete my tree layer. Delete the tree layer and get back to where I was. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is create a banner. So to create a banner, I'm going to go to my Shapes tool again. I'm going to use a rectangle tool, and for my banner, I'm just going to put it across the middle. I think I want to change my color to be a little bit more like true or a bold red. And that looks pretty good. Make it a little smaller. Okay, so there's my banner. You are welcome to move your banner wherever you like. So if you want it up top, at the bottom, in the middle, all of those are options. So for this, I decided I'm going to do mine in the middle. And before I make it an overlay, I'm going to go ahead and work on my text. So your text is this T option over here. And I can literally just place it anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to name mine Pizza Perfect. And the reason why it's this color is because this is the color that's currently selected. So I'm going to change the color to white. Click OK. Oops, I didn't highlight my text. That would be helpful to change it. Okay. Now I'm going to go back up to my move tool so I can move this over. And if I want to change the font, so it's defaulting to the last font I used, which is the Curls MT. If I want to change this font, I just need to highlight the text, come up here to the top where all the different fonts are, and I can scroll through them. So you'll notice that my font is going to automatically shift and adjust as I hover over different styles. Okay. So to make this an overlay, there's a couple of options you can really explore. So opacity is the transparency of a layer. So I can just simply make this a little bit more transparent. Or you can look at the layer options. So the layer options are really cool because you can do a lot of different kinds of adjusting with that banner. So you'll notice as I kind of go through them, some of them are going to show up, some of them are not. And some of them, you'll notice, do some really interesting effects depending on how it's being overlaid and how it's going to affect the background. Oops, not the one I wanted. Alright, I'm going to choose multiply because I like that it kind of darkens everything in the background. And then I am going to lighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit more transparent. So another fun thing about layers is that if you double click a layer, you're going to see layer styles pop up. So if you want to add different things, like if you want to add a color overlay, so if I wanted to perhaps change my color, I can play with that by adding an additional overlay on top. Okay, so I'm going to deselect that. We can do a gradient option, a pattern overlay, choose different patterns. So there's a lot of different things that you can play around with. You can create a glow around your work. Now this is not particularly showing up that well. So again, okay, so by changing the blending mode, now you can see that glow popping up. You can do a drop shadow. So, and there's that drop shadow that's showing up. So really feel free to play with the layer styles and at least explore that as well. So the last step that you want to do is you want to prepare this for Turnitin. Right now it's still a Photoshop file with all the layers. So in order to condense it and turn it into a JPEG, you're going to go to Layer, Flatten Image, say OK, and now it is ready. It is a flat image, back to kind of how it started. And you're going to click, make sure you click Save As and not Save. If you save it, then you're going to override your Photoshop file, and then you lose all of your layers. So I'm going to now find Save As Type, click JPEG, and click Save. So for image options and quality, I usually like to save things as the maximum quality and click OK. Make sure that it changes up here to a JPEG, and there you have it. There is your pizza poster demo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.